This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. October 10th is World Mental Health Day, and this year we are saying thank you to therapists. BetterHelp therapists have helped over 5 million people worldwide on their mental health journeys. That's millions of stories and millions of journeys. Behind each one of them is a therapist who showed up, listened, and helped someone take that next step forward. Moments in therapy, like asking the right questions, having a safe place to get emotional or cry, or small wins, they can change lives. This World Mental Health Day, BetterHelp is honoring those connections and the therapists who make them possible while showing how easy it is to get guidance from a licensed therapist online with BetterHelp. I've been doing therapy for over 2 years and I couldn't recommend it enough. It's helped me so much with relationships with my friends, families, even myself. It's helped me understand myself better, and it's just made for such a better life. It really has. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. And it works with an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 for live sessions based on over 1.7 million client reviews. This World Mental Health Day, we are collaborating with those therapists who have helped millions of people take a step forward. If you're ready to find the right therapist for you, BetterHelp can help you start that journey. Our listeners get 10% off of their first month at BetterHelp.com/PFF. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/PFF. Cowboys and the Jets. Dallas wins this game 37-22. Top 5 graded players that we had for Dallas. Wide receiver Ryan Flournoy at the very top of the list with a 90.8 overall grade. Gator grade Dante Fowler Jr., 86.3, next on the list. Running back Javonte Williams, a 75.3. Gator grade Kyer Elam.
They're everywhere.
74.0, number 4. Celebrating Florida's big win over Texas on Saturday. Love to see it. Tight end Jake Ferguson, a 72.1. Dak Prescott in this game, a 70.9. And then on the New York Jets side of things, defensive tackle Jawan Briggs with a 79.5. Tight end Mason Taylor, a 79.3. Cornerback Brandon Stevens, a 75.8. Edge rusher Braden McGregor with a 75.0. And then safety Tony Adams, a 70.7. Justin Fields in this one, a 77.7 overall grade. But Dalton, if he's dropping back 61 times, as he did in this game,
it's not great.
The Jets are probably not going to win. And they did not. He had the most dropbacks of any quarterback this week.
Yeah, not what you want.
No. Nope. It's just never the script that is going to be a winning formula for this Jets team. Now, I'm not saying that you don't do it. They were at a point where, what was the biggest point differential in this one?
30-6, I think, after 3 quarters.
I mean, obviously you're just passing the football after that, so you're doing what you need to do. Those stats are a little overinflated, but and just any time that you see that number for the Jets this year, it's not going to go well. What's your stat that told the story?
So one team came into this game 28th in the league in pass rush grade and facing a starting offensive line. That team, the Cowboys, got a 46% pressure rate and a 57% pass rush win rate.
It's pretty good.
The Cowboys defensive line, which has been obviously maligned all year because they traded Micah Parsons and it hasn't been great, especially rushing the passer. Mm-hmm. They dominated what's generally been a solid Jets offensive line. And on the other side of it, which may be even more disappointing, the Jets with Quinnen Williams, with Will McDonald, they don't have a ton of depth, but with those 2 guys at least out there, 7 total pressures in this game. 27% pass rush win rate as a team. And the Cowboys, their only starting offensive lineman playing in this game was Terrence Steele. They had 4 backups in and Terrence Steele, and the Jets had a 60 passer rush. They basically were non-existent as pass rushers other than a couple of good reps from Will McDonald. You just can't. I don't think on the Jets side there's a whole lot of excuse for that part of it, is that the Cowboys walked in there with a basically fully backup offensive line, and still that was the better trench unit on the field. And most impressive, just skip to the other side, or the Cowboys' defensive line. Just give him credit. Dante Fowler, you saw there, 6 pressures and a sack. Odigizua was dominant inside. James Houston, who is in this part-time situational pass rush role.
Which is what he should be in. That's where he's best.
He should, but he's going to have to play a little bit more because he had 5 pressures and 2 sacks in this game. He was really good. He's been really good for a few weeks. They're going to go to him more and more in these pass rush situations. 7 different Cowboys defensive linemen with multiple pressures. 7 of them. I mean, the Jets, it's weird because you kind of thought the trench play would be a reason because the Cowboys' injuries on the O-line and the struggles on the D-line. You kind of thought, okay, maybe this is the week the Jets have enough of a trench advantage where they can stay in or even win this game. And they got blasted in the trenches in this game. And I think there's that, and there's the other element of our good friend Connor Rogers mentioned this on SNY in New York yesterday. Mm-hmm. This Jets team just can't get over mistakes mentally. Mm-hmm. Breece Hall fumbles in the second quarter, and that's just it. The game was pretty much done from there. And it was only 10-3 at that point. But they're just mentally, you can see they were shot. They fumbled again. Here we go again. It's just the phrase is used all the time, but that's same old Jets right there. It's just they can't stop making mistakes, turnovers, penalties, things of that nature. And B, they're not playing. The very first game of the season, they played with some level of resolve. The Bucs game, they played with some level of resolve, right? They got back in that one. But otherwise, we've seen the better part of 3.5 of the last 4 games they've played with no fight whatsoever. And that's tough.
James Houston, Gator Gray, by the way. Just wanted to make sure that I shouted that one out.
Cowboys just got all of them. Jeez.
Yeah. Jets blitzing as well. Like, I have to think Aaron Glenn clearly sort of wants to do things his way, right? And I think that there's a lot of allure in that, given sort of what the Jets were, especially last year with how deflated and uninspired this group felt with Robert Saleh. And I do kind of feel for the Robert Saleh era, given the fact that for 2 years, what was it, in 2022, 2023, this is one of the best defenses in the NFL. They just could not have any semblance of an offense whatsoever. And then that third year that Saleh was there, it was all going to hell. So it was not a good year there, and things just went really downhill. The morale was down, all that kinds of stuff. You get Aaron Glenn in, and he's sort of giving you this energy and this confidence that's got a little bit of an alpha style to it, but it's also a little bit of the my way or the highway. And I wonder if it's just, you know what, kind of just need to just let this year be what it is for the Jets.
Well, that's
because it's not his players, it's not his guys, and it just is what it is.
And I know preseason hype and hope is what it is, which is why I try not to say too much about this team in the preseason. But even if they had played really well and not had some of these injuries they have, their ceiling was maybe 5 or 6 wins. And this is a talent-deficient football team.
For sure, it is.
And those 2 teams that you mentioned that were better than this one during the Robert Saleh era, those teams were more talented than this one.
No, there's no doubt.
Question.
The Jets have – I mean, if you look at the Jets' most talented 7 or 8 players.
They're really good.
They're really good. But you get after player 8 and beyond – they're one of the least talented depth teams in the NFL.
And you look at what they're dealing with. One of those guys would be Elijah Vera Tucker, hasn't played a snap this year, and he won't.
Right.
Another one of those guys, Joe Tippmann's playing guard instead of center. Mm-hmm. Quincy Williams is out. Jermaine Johnson. That's 4 guys right there on the list already that are compromised.
Right.
And then you go, Sauce Gardner's in the secondary by himself.
Sure.
And Jamie Sherwood without Quincy Williams is really struggling right now. So, I mean, and Garrett's your only receiver, and Breece is your only back. And, I mean, you're right. There is a severe lack of depth. They're just not they're not good.
And this goes to your point. They can't create pressure with 4 up front. They can't create pressure blitzing either. Jets 58.6 pass rush grade when blitzing this season is 23rd in the NFL, and they only have 22 total pressures when they have blitzed. That's 29th in the NFL. So this team just they're sending extra bodies to try to get pass rush help, and they can't do it. So they're not a good blitzing team. They're not a good 4-down rushing team. They're just not a talented football team right now, and that's the way it is. And when you combine that script with Justin Fields having to throw the ball as much as he is, I mean, like I said, the stat that told the story to me is there's just not enough offensive diversity with this team. The Jets have one way to win the game. One way. Run the ball. So when the score is 0-0 at the beginning of the game, they're going to do that. They're going to run the ball, and then the second that it's not going well for them, you talk about how they fumbled the football. What was that, in the second quarter, you said?
Yeah.
They fumbled the football in the second quarter. Well, the margin for error of this team is so small to where if you even start to lose the turnover battle, what are you going to do? The rest of the team just goes, well, who we play next week?
Well, and
I don't know if they're doing that for sure, but it's just that's the way that it feels with this team.
And as the stat has been thrown out a million times all over every outlet you've watched in the last 24 hours, they're the first team ever without a takeaway in their first 5 games.
It doesn't help.
That doesn't help.
Yeah, so when you give the ball away, you know you're not getting it back. Yeah, also not ideal. Cowboys won this game. We haven't talked a lot about the Cowboys so far. You talked about their defensive line really stepping up. Ryan Flournoy was fantastic in this game. Shout out to Ben Lindsay and the PFF betting show. When I got in the office on Sunday before the games, Ben told me, he's like, I got the Ryan Flournoy ladder today. And it was like 25 receiving yards, 50 receiving yards, 80 receiving yards that he bet on Ryan Flournoy. I was like, you are a madman. And he was like, look, he's going to be their wide receiver too, because no CeeDee Lamb, no Kevontae Turpin either. Now, Jake Ferguson was heavily involved in the passing game last week, so he was going to be a factor. But he's like, not only that, but Dak Prescott was asked earlier this week about like guys who needed to step up. And whoever the guy asking the question was, they were like, oh, like you've got George and you got the tight ends and whatever. And Dak like looks at him and goes, I know you didn't mention Ryan Flournoy's name, but he's another one. And it's like, okay, that very clearly Dak's thinking about that connection there. And Flournoy went off. He had a 90.4 receiving grade, 9 receptions, 6 catches, 119 receiving yards. So Ben hit all 3 steps of the ladder. It's incredible to see. Congrats to Ben on that one. 4 first down catches in the first half. This was the guy. He went to Ryan Flournoy was in the CeeDee Lamb role. They kept George Pickens in the George Pickens role. They put Ryan Flournoy in the CeeDee Lamb role. He was the motion man before the snap. He was the first down guy that they were looking for. So really cool to see that from the Cowboys. Really cool to see that from Flournoy, who small school guy. I believe he was drafted in the 6th or 7th round.
Was he drafted? I don't even remember if he was.
I know,
it's Southeast Missouri State, isn't it?
He was talked about pre-draft, so it makes me think that he was drafted. Was he drafted?
Well, we talk about 700 guys.
Well, I know. I felt like he was.
He was drafted in the 6th round.
6th round.
I couldn't remember if he was drafted or not. 6th round. 217 overall.
I'm a draft analyst for a reason. Yeah, he was drafted in the 6th round, and I remember him being drafted in the 6th round, and me being like, okay. All right, taking a flyer on him. Obviously, it's worked out for him.
It's worked.
Anything else for this game before we move on?
No, I think the only other thing to mention on the part with Flournoy is just how darn well Dak Prescott's throwing the football, man. I mean, he's playing like a top 5, if not top 3 guy this year. You talk about the Cowboys. The one reason they have a pulse, despite their struggles on defense and on all their injuries now, is Dak Prescott.
Yep.
Heart and soul of that
MVP
team.
candidate.
Yep.
Dak Prescott. Don't you forget it.